In the heart of 1940s Nigeria, when the world was still healing from war, village life followed the rhythm of farms, church bells, and ancestral traditions. But hidden within those rhythms was a story of one boy, Gershon. He was the only son of his parents, the seed of hope for an entire family. The boy meant to carry his father's name into the future. Yet, a single decision, made with trust, wrapped in promises, would change his life forever. This is not just a story of a child. It is a story of betrayal, of faith against tradition, of love and loss. It is the haunting tale of the boy who carried his father's name, but never lived to see his tomorrow. Stay with me as we journey back to Gershon's world. But before we step into Gershon's world and uncover the secrets of his short, heartbreaking life, take a moment to subscribe and join our family of story lovers. Hit the bell so you never miss a journey into the heart of Africa's folk tales. Now, let us return to the village where hope and heartbreak were about to meet. The year was the 1940s. The world had just survived a great war, and nations far away were reshaping themselves. Yet in eastern Nigeria, life moved to a different rhythm. Here, the seasons of yam and cassava still ruled the calendar. Church bells called people to worship, and ancient traditions guided the ways of families. In the heart of this world was a boy named Gershon. He was my mother's only brother, the sole son of my maternal grandparents, and the seed of their hope. He was their treasure, the one who would carry the family's name forward. Among their 3 daughters, Gershon stood like a bright star. There is one picture of him that still remains in our family's chest of memories. He was about 10 years old, standing stiffly for the camera, his eyes holding a mixture of boyhood mischief and solemn strength. That picture became more than a photograph. It became a memory frozen in time. Gershon's parents adored him. His father, known in the village as Amos, was a man of strong Christian faith. He had founded the Methodist Church in his village and later became a devoted member of the Assemblies of God. His mother was gentle, her heart tied completely to her only son. Gershon was not just a child to them, he was the promise of tomorrow. For a time, my grandparents lived in Calabar, where the Efik culture wrapped itself around their lives. They learned the Efik tongue, ate Efik food, and carried with them the influence of that place. There, in Calabar, lived my grandfather's brother, married to a striking Efik woman. Her beauty was often spoken of, but it was her charm that left an impression on everyone she met. When she laid her eyes on young Gershon, her heart softened at once. "Let him come and live with us," she pleaded with his parents. "I will treat him like my own child. He will be happy under my care." At first, my grandparents refused. How could they part with their only son? Gershon was their future, their joy. But the Efik woman did not give up. Day after day, month after month, she begged. Her words were dripping with promises of love, comfort, and care. When my grandparents eventually moved from Calabar to Ogwe in Asa, near Abba, the pressure grew heavier. At last, they gave in. With reluctant hearts, they returned to Calabar and left Gershon in the hands of his uncle and Efik aunt. They believed he would be safe. They believed he would be loved, but that was the beginning of his undoing. At first, all seemed well. Gershon's aunt smiled sweetly at him, and his uncle welcomed him with open arms. But soon, the sweetness faded. The aunt who had begged to care for him began to treat him differently. He was not a son, not even a nephew. He was a servant. Gershon fetched water from the stream, sometimes making countless trips under the scorching sun. He carried heavy bundles of firewood on his small shoulders until his back ached. He was sent on errands deep into the forest, trembling as he walked past the shadows of tall trees. The boy who once laughed freely in his mother's arms began to grow quiet. His hands hardened, his body grew thin, and his spirit dimmed. One day he sustained a terrible injury. Some say it happened while he was carrying wood. Others believe it was during a fall by the stream. Whatever the cause, the wound was deep and painful. Instead of being nursed back to health, he was forced to continue his chores. His injury worsened, the wound festered. Each step became heavy, each breath harder. At the stream where children often gathered, Some boys mocked him for his weakness. They shoved him and he fell again, the pain tearing through his frail body. Gershon, once full of promise, was wasting away before the eyes of strangers. But Providence was watching. One afternoon, as Gershon struggled down the path with a limp, a man from a nearby village spotted him. The man was older, wise and sharp-eyed. He stopped in his tracks. "You, boy," the man called. "Whose son are you?" Gershon raised his weary face. His lips trembled, but he answered, "I am the son of Amos." The man froze. "Amos? Amos the Christian? Then what are you doing here, suffering like this? This is no life for the son of Amos. You must come with me." That was the turning point. Without hesitation, the man marched straight to Gershon's uncle's compound. His voice thundered with authority. "I am taking this boy back. He belongs to his father. He cannot die here like a stranger." And so Gershon was brought back, thin, limping, his eyes dulled by suffering. But his parents were not home. They had moved again. Days passed before word reached his father. When the news came that Gershon had returned but was gravely ill, my grandfather mounted his bicycle and hurried home. When he finally laid eyes on his son, his heart broke. Gershon was almost unrecognizable, thin, wasted, his once lively face hollowed by pain. His small body seemed to have been carved by suffering itself. There were no hospitals as we know them today. Illness was fought with herbs, prayers, or both. My grandfather, though a strong man of faith, was desperate. He loved his son too deeply to let him go without a fight. He mounted his bicycle again and rode to the compound of a well-known Dibia, a healer whose power was feared and respected. The Dibia welcomed him. "What brings you here, Amos?" But my grandfather, proud in his faith, would not reveal his heart. "It is not for me to tell you," he said. "If you are truly a Dibia, you should know why I have come. Tell me, and then give me the solution." The Dibia frowned. "No, you must speak. You must name the trouble before I can help." "I will not," my grandfather insisted. "If your eyes cannot see what burdens me, then what power do you claim to have?" They argued, neither willing to bend. At last my grandfather mounted his bicycle and rode away, carrying both his pride and his despair. Days later, Gershon died. He was only a boy, his mother's only brother, his parents' only son. His death left a wound that time could never truly close. My grandparents buried him quietly, for in those days grief was not given space to linger. Life demanded that people carry on. Yet the memory remained. The picture of him at 10 years old, with eyes bright and mouth half smiling, became a haunting reminder of what could have been. The 1940s moved forward. Seasons turned. Villages grew. Families healed in the way that only survival allows. But for my mother, for her parents, and for all who knew Gershon, there was always a shadow, a reminder of the boy who carried his father's name, but whose life was cut short by betrayal, neglect, and fate. And so, the tale of Gershon became a story whispered across generations, a story of promises broken, of pride and faith, of the cruelty of relatives, and of a boy who might have lived but did not. Because in life, as in the seasons, not every seed grows to harvest. If Gershon's story touched you, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, like and share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful, emotional African stories. We promise more tales of love, loss, courage, and truth, stories that will make you laugh, cry, and reflect. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep loving.